This is episode 29 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're bringing you a game where one of the players is not us.
Yeah, shock horror. Actually, we've been doing reasonably well on that front recently, so I'm not
Maybe
going
it
to
just
knock it
feels
too
like we
much.
haven't. I don't know.
Yes, I've just played my penultimate Tin League game against Mr. Ryan Burnett. Shout out for him coming on TTS and getting that done with me. And quite an interesting list, and I'm going to have to pause there because I'm not streaming this on Discord, am I?
Yes, true, you are, in fact, not streaming this on Discord.
I was just thinking, where am I going? Discord.
I'll be honest, I was going to just pretend I knew what you were talking. I was going to pretend you were streaming until you realised you weren't, and then we'd see what happened.
Well, thank you for that. There you go.
I'll just keep saying stuff. Hello, that looks interesting.
Okay, so I'll do a quick rundown of. I'll probably do both of this because I fired both factions. It'll be quicker and easier. So I brought the same list I flew against Sam last week. Commander Poe with Jamming Beam, Jess with Jamming Beam, the Red Squadron Expert T70 with R6D8 and Jamming Beam, and the generic New Republic Patrol Y-Wing Resistance, Wartime Loadout, Electro Chaff Missiles, APTs, and a Dorsal Turret. Two of those upgrades don't come in at all, I don't think. And Ryan had brought some Republic against me. Ryan apparently has just got some new ships for Christmas, so is expanding his list building. And he has brought Warthog in the LAT. Warthog's ship ability is basically when a friendly ship that is non-limited, or Warthog himself, range 0 to 2, I believe, is killed. It is not removed until the end of the engagement phase, so you can't initiative kill. Not really an issue in this game because everyone except from Poe is I3. He's got concussion missiles, synchronized console, and Wolfpack. Synchronized console lets you, after you perform an attack, it lets you pass a lock to a friendly ship, or lets a friendly ship at range 3 acquire a lock if they have the sync console upgrade. All the ships in this list do. And Wolfpack is after you defend, after a friendly ship defends, if the attacker is in that ship's attack arc, so the lots, that the defending ship may take a strain to acquire a lock. He's then brought the I3 generic Republic Y-Wing with sync console, an R4, and proton torpedoes. The Shadow Squadron Escort I3 V-Wing with the Esk Convig and sync console. And then two I3 Torrents with sync console and cluster missiles.
Nice. Basically just a missile list. This is an interesting one.
You shoot out the clusters with the Torrents, don't you? You use the LAT's ship ability to re-roll.
Yeah.
And then on both, and yeah.
Esk is interesting, but hey, it's free, right?
It's free.
So why not?
Don't think it gets used, but yeah, why not? It's like Jamming Beam, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
One time it might be useful. You never know, right?
Well, that's true. So turn 0. I want to joust, even against Ryan's list. I think I can't initiative kill anything, but I've got a lot more health and more greens. I say more greens, not more greens, but more health. And more reds as well for the most part. Yeah. So I want to joust. Ryan apparently wants to joust. So we nicely stick all the obstacles out the way and set up with a nice clear lane. I set up in the bottom right corner with a block of 4. I'm first player. I lost the roll off, so my I3s are going first, which does actually impact the game. I set up the Y-Wing and the generic T70 at the front, Jess and Poe at the back, and Ryan sets up in a line opposite me with the 2 Torrents nearest the board edge, the LAT in the middle, the Y-Wing on the other side, and then the V-Wing just a fraction out. Obviously intending to use the V-Wing speed, I think, to get a bit of a a flank if he can.
Yeah. See, that's interesting, because if I were in Ryan's position, I'd have taken first player.
Yeah, see, I think I would have as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works out for him. So yeah, we'll get cracking. The first turn is irrelevant. We all 3 straight and focus. No one gets shot. This game goes in quickly, as you'd expect from a joust. So we've both gone 3 straight, and we've covered a third of the board each. So my plan now, is this turn, is to actually to throw out the chaff cloud, because I'm expecting Ryan to come at me fast again, probably another 3 straight. He wants to get into range 1. He wants to, start punching, I suppose. So if I can get that cloud out, I can, I can get the jams put on. He's not going to get his actions. And my hope is that he's either gone enough that he lands on it, or he's gone even faster than that, and in which case he's going to bump into me because I've moved first and lands on it. I didn't think I had another turn.
Yeah, I don't think you have another turn either. Like, this is
where you do it. Boop it out. So I do that and 1 straight, everybody.
Yeah.
No. I do that on 1. Yeah, I do that on 1 straight everyone. Sorry. So yeah, cloud comes out with the full straight. 1 straight everyone up. And then Ryan did a 2 with everybody. And so sits just the other side of the cloud. And I think that makes all the difference.
Yeah. Okay, and that was the V-Wing took a lock onto Poe there, right?
Yeah. V-Wing boosted around, took a lock onto Poe because
Yeah.
it's not taking a shot. Poe took a lock onto the Y-Wing. Because it's... So the cloud's right in front of Warthog and the Yellow Torrent. The Red Torrent is off, as we're looking at it, to the right, just to the right of the cloud, and the Y-Wing to the left, and the V-Wing is further down, flanking my ships.
Yeah.
And actually, that is... I don't know whether it was intentional or not, I forgot to ask, but that is actually a really good counter setup, that line. Is I would have just chucked my ships in a block. And I would have done a block of 4, probably with the Torrents at the front, the V-Wing and the Y-Wing at the back, because it's got Protorps and 3 greens on the V-Wing, and then the Lat running down the side.
Yeah, what I would have done is I'd have maybe had the block. I would have had the Y-Wing behind the Torrents, and then the V-Wing off to the side.
But by not having that, the cloud's only really affecting 2 of his ships.
Yeah.
And they've all got focuses apart from the V-Wing, which took a lock.
But the V-Wing's not likely to get shot.
No. And I was hoping for this one that if he'd done a 3-speed, which is what I was expecting, he would have landed on the cloud.
Yeah.
But hey ho. Poe charges in. Does his Commander Poe on himself to get a lock focus, and gets 3 hits. Ryan decides to. Ryan rolls. 2 dice. Gets evade focus, but decides not to spend his focus, so takes 2 shields, and then takes a strain to acquire a lock onto Poe.
Okay.
My Y-Wing goes into his Y-Wing, and focuses for 2 hits, which both go through.
Interesting. I wouldn't have taken the strain.
No, I probably would have waited.
Not on the Y-Wing, only because that V-Wing has a lock. I guess it depends on who he wants the Y-Wing to shoot, but like the V-Wing has a lock on Poe.
But that's it. So he took the strain. Obviously, he took a strain shot from the Y-Wing.
Yeah.
But it's now retaken the strain to move his lock from Poe to my Y-Wing, and I think that's a mistake because he's now negating the extra dice he's getting from my 2 ships that have obstructed shots.
Yeah.
He's already taken damage, so he's only got four hull left, and I've got 2 T70s to shoot at him. So I do Jess next, who does the range 3, just somehow unobstructed shot into him. It grazed the cloud. So strained. It's again 3-on-1. Jess has got 3 ships around her and a focus, so is effectively fully modded, and ends up with 3 hits, all of which go through. And then I'm left with my final shot, and this is quite interesting because I ummed and ahed on this one. I've got the obstructed.
I think you go into the Y-wing.
I've got the obstructed range 3 on the Y-wing. I've got a focus mod, or I can go range 2 unobstructed into the torrent, but I think that's one less dice. Or I can take a range 2 obstructed into the yellow torrent, but the yellow torrent's in 2 bullseyes, so I get 2 rerolls.
I think it's still Y-wing.
I do go into the Y-wing. I do. I'm going to know about it for a sec. But I go into the Y-wing, get 3 hits. He rolls 2 of A's and a blank. The Y-wing dies, but doesn't die because we're I3.
Doesn't die as Warthog, etc., etc.
Yeah. Ryan now spends about 20 minutes checking everybody's arc before he decides which order he wants to engage in. So he ends up going with the Y-wing first, who does the protop into my Y-wing. And it's a sad protop. So it's 2 shields.
I mean, that's not that sad a protop. That's hit, crit, crit.
Now, this is the V-wings start cluster missiling people, and cluster missile into because he's passing the lock around with sync console. He doesn't change the lock; he just says who he's passing it to. So basically, both the torrents are cluster missiling the Y-wing, and then following that up with shots into the generic T70, and that ends.
Damage is being done.
Yeah, that ends up with the Y-wing shields gone. And the T70 shield's gone.
That's not a bad trade. I mean, yeah, his Y-wing is dead, but this isn't the worst trade.
He then passes the lock over to the V-wing, who takes the shot on the Y-wing, takes it down to 3, and then
the lat fires a concussion missile.
The lat fires a concussion missile. I blank out, and my Y-wing dies. So I've traded a Y-wing for a Y-wing.
Yeah.
But I'm reasonably happy because I haven't used the ATP.
The chaff cloud is that.
But I've shot the chaff cloud out, and he's only fired off 1 torp, and that's a reasonably expensive Y-wing. I'm reasonably happy with that. It's a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, I think that's a fair trade. The only thing that make it not fair is possibly next turn if this goes poorly, because whilst you traded 1 for 1, if the trade continues to go 1 for 1, you'll eventually lose.
Yeah. So I know that. Actually, what I've done actually is made a mistake here, and I've just picked up on it. I know that if a ship fires out a chaff cloud with a full straight, you can't 1 straight, 1 straight. It just catches the nubs. So what I've done on this second turn is I've 2 straighted Jess over the generic, which will allow the generic to bump into the back of Jess. So none of them hit the cloud. Jess gets a focus. But Jess and the T70 aren't the ships that fire the chaff, and the nubs come down particularly that little bit further.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's literally the nubs on the chaff cloud overlap the nubs on the ship firing it.
So Jess and the T70 could have done a 1 straight and
they could have
fine.
They could have both 1 straighted and been fine. And I'll actually go and check this later to make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah, so they both could have ended up with focuses, and that would have meant that the torrents bump into the generic rather than the T70, rather than Jess, which means they're not shooting the one that's lost its shields.
Right, yeah.
And that does come into play. So yeah, that's a mistake.
My assumption here is the torrents are going to do like 2 straight or whatever their slowest move is.
Yeah.
The Lart does a 2, like a hard or a bank or something.
Well,
Rotate the turret.
the Lart stops.
Oh yeah, stopped works as well.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, because you can get the lock from the
Yeah.
V-wing.
That's it. And yeah, so that's a definite mistake on my part because I was thinking about it, but realizing that actually that's the only ship I have to do that with is the one that fired it. So, yeah, that's why we review these games. But I have jumped Jess over with a 2 straight. She takes the focus, and the generic goes into the back. Lart does a stop. The torrents bump. The V-wing banks in and takes a lock onto the T-70 generic. So he's got a range 1 shot into the side of him. Poe just slides up in front of the T-70 and takes a focus. Shoots into the lat for 2.
Lat takes 2 damage, takes a strain, gets a lock. Or
Oh,
is
sorry.
the
Sorry, yeah, I went into the torrent, not the lat. There's me.
Okay.
I'll edit that out. So
Poe shoots strain, gets a lock.
Poe shoots range 1 into the yellow torrent, gets 2 hits, puts 2 through. And then, yeah, the torrent takes a strain to acquire a lock onto Poe. That lock goes straight away because it had a jam from overlapping the chaff cloud.
Yep.
And then
I still think it's worth it.
Yeah, because you could just do it again.
Yeah.
The T-70, I got cold. Stop calling it the T-70. The Red Squadron Expert does the range 1 shot into the yellow torrent. It is in 2 bullseyes, so I get 2 rerolls, which equates to 3 hits, and yellow dies, but doesn't. And Jess goes into Warthog for 2 shields off.
And it looks like the yellow torrent did acquire another lock onto the red spurt.
Onto the red expert. So fires its cluster missiles, and my dice kind
crit.
Yeah, he takes it. Poe
bounces
takes
it into Poe, and the next
takes
they chain it. Yeah, okay, it's the standard synchronized chain.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, finishes off Red Squadron because I rolled no evade. I rolled quite a few focus results, so if I'd had that focus token, he may have lived. Poe manages with his focus to just lose 1 shield from those shots. And then last but not least, the V-wing takes the range 1 into Poe and plinks 1 more shield off. So, at the end of that turn, I've lost the Y-wing. So, second engagement, I've lost the Y-wing, I've lost the generic T-70, and I've lost 2 shields on Poe. And I've traded that for a Y-wing and a torrent. And suddenly that's not... Oh, and 2 shields on Warthog. And suddenly that's not going great.
No, but that should be all of the cluster missiles.
That is all of the cluster missiles.
And probably 2 out of 3 of the concussions.
1 out of 3.
Did you not fire it this round?
I don't believe so, no.
Interesting.
But yeah, so this turn, I know the lat's got to move because it's stressed. So I just 4K behind everyone. Because I know the likelihood is the V-Wings are going to turn in. The lat's going to come forward. And the torrent's probably going to do a turnaround. So...
Yeah, like what I want to see is 1 straight from the lat, because that literally, well, no, it won't, but like there's that feeling that it might, if you decided to 3 Talon, it might have caught that.
Do you know,
just one straight focus.
I did think about the 3 Talon. Seriously considered it. I was just worried.
Can the V-Wings 3 hard? Yeah, I think of course you fly first, never mind.
Yeah. The V-Wings can 3 hard. However, Ryan makes a bit of a boo-boo here because he forgets that Poe's an I6.
Right. So forgets that Poe's... So he bumps the V-Wing.
Yeah, he 1 hards the V-Wing, stays where it is.
Yeah.
I think he did a 2 straight with...
Yeah, I think that's fine.
That. So yeah, Poe's got a range 1 shot into Warthog. Rolls 3 focuses and a crit, and is a little bit sad.
He takes the crit, stun pilot.
He takes the crit because he can take a strain, get a lock,
Yeah.
and he's got a range 1 double modded shot back at.
Yeah.
I think what I actually needed to do on this in this game, I think it's the initial engagement. Despite the fact it's obstructed, I should have burnt Warthog down.
Yeah,
because
probably.
the rerolls and Wolfpack, I should have just burnt Wolfpack down.
Yeah, and also it's because it's the Warthog rerolls that are letting Ryan not spend his target locks for the synchronized consoles.
Exactly. So Jess goes in and does nothing because I'm not spending a charge when I've got shots coming back.
Someone's throwing 3 dice into Poe.
Yeah, that would be, I believe, the Lat who rolls 2 crits into Poe. Sorry, a hit and 2 crits into Poe. Poe's down to 2. Maybe no, that must have been the previous one. Then the Torrent
puts another crit in.
Puts another crit in because, yeah, of course.
Imagine if he'd asked.
Damage engine.
Ask.
I would have been fine.
What does he ask?
I would have been fine with a 1 straight focus at this point.
If you'd have gotten a focus, Ryan played badly.
Why? What?
2 hard boosts from the V-Wing. Easy peasy.
Yeah. So all of a sudden I've got Jess on. Jess is fine, but Poe's on 1, and I've done 1 damage to Warthog this round. And yeah, I don't overly think that's even unmodded 6 dice into 2 greens. Probably would have expected a little bit more than that, but
yeah. Maybe I'd have thought 2 damage.
Yeah. But that brings him 2 damage, will bring him down to 6, and he's 1 point away from half.
Yeah.
But I do a 3 straight, I think, here with Jess. Trying to just jump in and get some blocks.
Yeah.
And just to get, I thought that the Lat might stop here again. And I thought a 3 strain, I think I'm right, is enough that it puts it in its side arc. The turret's front back. So Jess is safe.
So Jess is getting shot, yeah.
Yeah. Because if he does stop, he's stressed, so there won't be a rotate. And I take a lock onto a double mod. I take the lock focus. Now, this was interesting. Ryan, I think, 2 straighted with the Torrent to remove the stress. It leaves him right in front of Jess. He barrel rolls, which doesn't take him out of arc, and then links it into an evade.
So my read on that is the V-Wing was about to bump into Jess, and he wanted both shots.
I think the V-Wing was doing a 1 hard, if I remember rightly, and I don't think that would have bumped. I think I would have just taken the evade and not left yourself stressed.
I mean, I would have focused.
Because, well, alright, fine. But if he's inclined to take the evade, either way, because that way, Jess is stressed again because she's done a Commander Poe, so you know she's not turning around the next turn. You can just 2 Talon in behind her.
Yeah, or 3k.
Or 3k, or 5k.
Yeah. Like I said, without seeing what the moves that were revealed are, my assumption was that the V-Wing was doing a 2 hard, and that looked like it might have bumped into Jess, and he wanted to make sure there was 2 shots.
No, I believe
that's the only read I can make on that one.
I believe, although I may be misremembering, you may have it correct, but I thought it was doing a 1 hard.
But anywho, what does Warthog do?
Warthog stops. Oh no, Warthog 1 straights and bumps.
Okay.
And Poe just 1 straights behind and takes a target lock onto the red Torrent.
Oh, so looking at that, definitely wishing they had done a stop there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, because it would have got the bump on Poe. I thought that it might get the bump on Poe, but my take from that is the Torrent's not shooting. The Lat's not shooting Poe. Then
true. It would have just been a single modded shot.
So I managed to get crit through onto the Torrent from Poe. Oh, by God, I was praying for a weapons failure or something at that point, but. Panic Pilot.
Did Ryan not spend his evade there? Or is that evade he's gotten his dice from the evade?
He did not spend his evade there.
Okay.
I assumed at the time that he was hanging on to it because he knows he's taking a range 1 shot from Jess as well. But it turns out no, he forgot it. So, all right. He then takes a strain to acquire a lock onto Poe, and Jess gets the full result she needs to guarantee the Torrent's death.
Yeah. Ryan Spencer's evade.
yeah. And then Ryan rolls back into Poe with the Torrent. Gets 2, and Poe natties out of it somehow. I genuinely thought for a moment Poe was going to survive this.
This is the last shot, isn't it?
This is the last shot. 2 crits. Rerolls for nothing. And Poe, combines his natties for blanks. And Poe dies. And Jess natties out of the thing. Right. So, for anyone,
then you pull up the V-Wing dial.
For anyone watching on YouTube, small apologies. When I'm playing and recording for the podcast, I use the TTT overlay so that we can keep track when we're reviewing it and you guys can keep up with what's happening. But it kind of means when I'm playing, I tend to, instead of pestering my opponent about what blues are and stuff on the dials, I'll just use the function on the webpage. And I did it, as you can see, for the V-Wing. I kind of forgot to clear it, so the rest of the game kind of has that in front. It doesn't affect it until right at the end.
I was going to say, but don't worry. Look, they're clearly not going to end up in the dead center of the board. You've been avoiding it the entire time, right? There's no way all 3 of your ships are going to end up in that small square.
For anyone listening on TTS, on the podcast, ignore the mumbling because I'm just going to edit this entire bit out of that bit and just leave it on the YouTube. So, so I expect the V-Wing to sort of probably turn up towards Jess now, because worst case scenario, you bump and then no one else can possibly shoot at you. And I'm expecting the Lat to probably stop again. Jess can't stop.
See, I would have expected the Lat to 1 straight and rotate.
Okay. And I'm just going to do a 1 straight here.
Yeah.
Because either the V-Wing goes past me, and then that's fine, it's not shooting at me, or it bumps. So that's kind of win-win for me. And the Lat, if it stops, I shouldn't be in its arc. If it doesn't stop, then we're shooting each other. So... and this, by the way, in case you haven't clicked, Sam, is why Ryan did not choose first player.
Okay.
It is Wolfpack. Because if he was first player, he wouldn't be getting those locks for that turn's attack.
That's true.
So, So I 1 straight and take a lock onto the Lat. The Lat does do the stop. And the V-Wing, rather randomly, 1 hearse in front of me.
Okay, that's not where I would have gone.
And then chooses not to barrel roll. And I asked Ryan about
doesn't
this.
Want to be stressed. So
doesn't want to be stressed. But even so, I think personally I would have barrel rolled, and then it's got enough. You can barrel roll to the right, 2 hard blue, and boost away without too much worry. But that's me. That's me trying to be less aggressive than my normal playstyle. But I have a shot into the V-Wing, and it does nothing. I roll 2, he gets 2 results. So I 1 straight and bump because honestly, I knew he was going to do a turnaround. The Lat's got to move. I kind of just wanted to be in a position where we can trade shots. Because at the moment, with no mods, a T-70 trading with a V-Wing should work in my favour.
Problem is that he is going to get mods.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting that bit. But he does a 4K. The Lat moves, and then I forgot it can rotate, so that was sad times. He does get the mod, because I keep forgetting about Wolfpack. Plinks through, Jess takes 2 shields, and then the lats. Oh no, that was the lats. So Jess has lost 2 shields, so we're still okay. And again, so here I 4K, and Ryan was gobsmacked that fit. I was like, but because I bumped into him the previous turn and he did a 4K has to fit. It will just put you at range 0 again.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is a mistake. Trying to shoot into the V wing when it's got 3 greens and probably a focus mod, because he's got to move in front of me. He's not going to be shooting. You'll take the focus for defense.
Yeah, especially when you can get you can just keep punching into the lat.
Yeah, because Jess isn't getting rerolls anymore because she has no teammates.
Yeah.
I think I should have just gone after the lat. I think what I should have done instead of a 4K there is probably a 1 bank to the right, and then either the lat bumps or it moves in front of me and I can get a shot. 1 bank focus, and then I'm double modded against it.
Where's the second mod coming from?
I've already got a target lock.
Oh right, okay.
From the previous turn. So if I 1 bank focus, I'm double modded. So he does move the V-wing and barrel rolls out of arc, and the lat stops. So I shoot into the lat. I managed to get crit through. Crit, and it's a hull breach and a console fire. And the lat shoots back and does the last.
Have arc?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
I think he fired the concussion missile.
Oh, the concussion. Right, of course, the concussion missile.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at the side arc. It's like, there's no way that has arc, and he didn't check.
Yeah, no, because I shot him, he gains the target lock. This is why I think target priority, I should have killed the lat first.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, and then we remember he's got a console fire in a second. You'll see him roll for that. And I believe he rolls a crit, and I'm like, oh... If that was
the irony being, if he'd rolled a hit, he'd have taken a crit.
So we start moving here, and we haven't clicked it yet. I think we click it in a sec. And this makes me a little sad because I wasn't expecting the lat to go that fast. So I was hoping to catch it with Jess. And the V-wings, there you go, there's the console fire. The V-wings move just enough.
And he fixes the hull breach as the action.
Yeah, the V-wings moving just enough that it's not in shot. So I have no shot. And I take 1 from the lat, and he puts 2 damage through, because my greens, they're just terrible. But I've put myself, I don't know. And yeah, so Jess is on 2. The problem with that is I now have to kill Warthog and half the lat, half the V-wing.
Yeah.
There was a small part of me that was hoping my job would be a lot easier by the V-wing not making the 1 hard to the left here. It's close. But
that looks easy.
I'll say that's you and me then. I looked at it and thought, oh, it's close. I don't tend to go that close. So Warthog does take a damage from the console fire for that turn.
Okay.
So I 2 hard to the right here, because I know where the lat's going. I don't know where the lat's going, where the thing's going. I do wonder whether I should have 3-harded and barrel rolled in and tried to get a better angle and block the V-wing.
Yeah, that might have been an idea. Although, can you recover from that?
Yeah.
T70?
Well, yeah, because I've got all my hards are white.
Okay.
So it doesn't, and also the barrel roll itself is white. It's the into a focus that makes it stressful.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, because if you 3-hard and barrel roll, that'd be close.
Well, so long as I'm on the board, I'm at 45 degrees, so a hard will bring me back on the board, won't it?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you'd be too close to the board. Yeah. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, if you're on the board,
I'm probably visualizing a little bit off, because in my head you're like, if you barrel, you're like half a base ahead of where you are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that looks a little close to me.
Yeah, but if I'm on the board at the start, if I do any hard maneuver to the left, I'll still be on the board.
Yeah, I guess.
It's the way it works. If you're at 45 degrees, even if you're literally millimetre on the board edge, any hard maneuver will leave you on. You can't fly off.
Yeah.
It just loops off and back on. But anyhow, the lat, too hard because it's got to turn, and I thought I'd just be out of range, but unfortunately not.
Does a non-Wolfpack target lock? What is this madness?
Yeah. So yeah, the
Takes a focus.
The V-Wing, yeah, takes focus because the boost isn't going to get him anything. So it's 4 on 3. We've both got a focus. I get 4 results, and he gets 3 natural evades.
Takes a shield. Gotta love those 3 greens. It's the tyranny.
And then Jess manages to dodge the long-range 2-dice shot from Warthog. So, I too hard to the left, and then barrel roll, because I think that Ryan's going to K-turn the...
Interesting.
V-Wing.
I would not have called a K-turn, because I don't know, I look at that and think a K-turn's a waste of time.
And he did K-turn.
Yeah, interesting.
And I got the block. And once I'd done this, I realised I haven't actually netted myself anything here.
No, because you're... Actually, yeah, it's actually not great, because at the minute, you've got a 1v1, and soon that Lart's going to come back.
Well, it's not even a 1v1. What do I do here where he just doesn't chase me?
A Talon roll.
Well, you
to
just...
the right.
What, off the board? Like...
That shouldn't get you off the board. You should be
what
fine.
What I should have done was just I should have just 2-harded or 3-hard and set it up so that I'm not getting. If I thought he's doing the K turn, and I guessed that bit right,
yeah,
I should have just done a maneuver like the 2-hard without the barrel roll.
Yeah,
and then I should have taken a target lock. I'm not getting shot. He's facing the wrong way away from me, and he's stressed. And all I've got to do on the next turn is to hard turn back in, take a focus, and I'm double modded, and I know he's not facing me. So I was that focused on the blocking, which I nailed in my defence, but it didn't actually.
Yeah, but it's well all well and good to block, but like it's almost only helping Ryan because now his V-Wing's facing the right way.
Yeah, it didn't actually net me anything, and yeah, I think that's actually a really good. It's I suppose
it's February. What you've done would be a critical mistake because Ryan would be able to shoot you.
Well, yeah, that's true. But
that'll be something to think about.
I mean, if that's the case, then the second engagement where Jess bumped into both the torrents, I just But yeah, it's actually quite interesting. Because I did a few turns of self-bumping here on purpose and things like that. It'll be interesting to see how those rules, which bits actually get ruled. I'm not can't I suppose speculate.
Can't judge until it comes into the rule rooms. We can just hear what they say.
Exactly. But yeah, so this turn I'm like, all right, what the hell do I do now? The lat's 2-harded back up again just to bring it into play.
So I can't see what the centre of the board actually looks like, but the lat can't really afford to go over any obstacles because that's done pilot. So I'm guessing we'll have to bank.
Oh, you'd think that, wouldn't you? So basically, there is, for anyone watching, there's a rock just to the left of the centre, about where the 3-bank is on the dial.
Okay.
So the only real in-play one is the rock that you can see just above and right of the lat.
Yeah, my assumption is that the lat should absolutely do like a 2-bank or something, or a 1-bank.
What into the
rocks, because then you can get out again.
Yeah, see, I thought you might 2-hard to the right and go round that way. So I 2-hard to the left with Jess because there's not a blue that's either going to bump or not have the V-Wing shooting me, basically. It's like the best I can manage. And he does. He does that, and then the Mad Nutter does a 4 straight with the.
I would not have called it that. I would have called that was going to clip on the rock.
Yeah, I didn't call it, and it's I mean, you can see the edge of the lat. It's a couple of millimeters above the rock edge, and it's a great play because
Lat doesn't still have a concussion missile, does he? He's 5'3", I think.
I don't know.
He's 5'3", and I don't think he's reloaded.
Also, I'm not in the front arc.
Okay.
But he's already got the lock, so he doesn't need to worry about that. No, we remembered he didn't have the lock because he passed it over to the V-wing, so that's why it's removing on the video. But I've got to shoot him. I can't afford at this point to not be shooting.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And you've got a good chance of just straight killing him.
And I believe I actually... Oh no, I do a crit, and the crit is structural damage. But he... Right. So he misses a trick here, because I don't think he takes a strain to acquire the lock.
Ooh, dun 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 dun.
Which,
no, he doesn't.
No, when you've got a structurally damaged 1 agility ship, and I think he picked up on it afterwards, but that could have made the...
Yeah, that could have been absolutely difference. Did you even roll the greens?
No, because he didn't roll anything.
Okay, I was going to say, if you'd rolled the greens... It would have been interesting to see how badly that could have gone.
So I'm here now, and I'm like, what do I do here? Because I can't initiative kill anyone. I've got 2 health left. I can try and turn and get a shot on the V-wing. But I think the V-wing just one hard cuts inside me. I've got a target lock on the V-wing, but I think the V-wing just cuts inside me.
Yeah.
So I actually end up doing a 1 bank to the right to basically just try and line up a shot on the.
Yeah. No, I like that. I was thinking 1 straight.
The only reason I didn't 1 straight is because Ryan's shown a bit of a penchant in this game for going a little faster. So I felt the 1 bank, like because the 1 and 2 straights are blue on the lat. So if he's done the 2 straights, I was worried that it would overshoot.
Right.
Or I'd overshoot, even with a 1 straight. I just felt the 1 bank gave me better options, or if he's banked in, might get the bump.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a 1 bank, and I take a focus. He does do the 2 straight and sticks right in front of me, which is good because my foils are still closed at this point. I roll 2 hits, and because he's strained and structurally damaged, that's enough to kill him. But he gets a shot. So I think he does the V-wing. I can't remember which one he does first. But I managed to... He has some poor reds, and a focus token saves me. So I am still on 2. And at this point, it's a 2 Hell Jessica Parva versus 2 holes and a shield V-wing. And if I can get that 1 shield off, I'm winning.
All right. Do you guys spend the next 20 minutes doing nothing?
So I'm gonna go. That's me accidentally undoing the next turn. I 4K. You can't see it. He 1 banks for a stress.
That's
so we
Jesus.
Yeah, you have the dials in front of you.
Yeah.
So we've both got, I think, ranged 2 shots at each other. So it's 3 reds versus 3 greens and 2 reds versus 2 greens. We both have a target log and no focus. And I roll 3 focuses. Oh no, that's not the roll. I roll nothing. Oh, I rolled 3. Oh yeah, I rolled 3. Rolled 3 focuses, spent the lock, and rolled it into 2 focuses and a blank.
That's fun.
Fun times. He rolls something, and I roll 2 of 8, so I'm fine. And then we disappear.
Yeah.
So I think I did I want to say a 2 straight. Might have been a 1 straight. It took a target lock. But basically we shoot past each other, and no one shoots.
So I think because we can't actually see what's going on.
I did a 1 bank. That's what I did. I did a 1 bank because I was hoping to get a block if he'd gone slow. He actually did a 3 straight over me. So he's just inside. Must just be inside the the thing. So I've managed to get a lock. I think he took a lock on me, so we're back to that. And then, as you can see, I've just done a 4K out to turn around. Because he's that far back, if he does a turnaround, it should give us enough distance where we're probably not shooting at each other. Which suits me, because I realistically think at this point, I'm not going to outmaneuver him. He's got a better one-on-one dial, and he's moving after me. So I think my best chance is to get a double modded shot on him, kill him, he kills me, we go to final salvo.
Yeah.
I don't think if I keep just trying to chase rounds, he's got the one hard that's white. He's got a boost and a barrel roll, and yeah. He's got a blue 2 hard, which is mighty handy. But yeah, so I do a 4K, and he actually one hards and banks round.
So he dodges the shooting.
He dodges the shooting. I didn't call the one hard at all. But it means that I'm not getting shot. So this turn, I close my falls again. One bank, and then barrel roll into a focus. He one hard and boosts past me.
Okay, so Ryan's actually playing the getaway game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say that.
Is he about 2K?
So I do a 3 straight and a boost, because it gives me enough distance, gives me a slight angle to come back in. He does a 2K, takes a range 3 shot, gets 1 result, and surprise, surprise, I roll. Blank, focus. Oh, yeah. Jess wasn't actually on 2 for half of that. She was on 1, and I completely forgot at that point. And it's when I went to take the last one off, I realised that I'd not updated the overlay. Which is why I was going for final salvo. But yeah, so he got that typical range 3 shot where he's got 1 result after a target lock, and it's the one that goes through.
Yeah, it's the only one you need.
Well, yeah. I had a look at the dice stats afterwards. They were reasonably close. I think there was a 2-point swing in it, which is nothing on the dice stats.
Basically nothing. Like, basically nothing.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think if the first engagement had got that chaff cloud, so Ryan didn't have all the focuses, would have made a difference. But again, I still think that was the right time to throw it out, because I think the next turn, I'm not
100% sure. Admittedly, this is with the power of hindsight. But I guess if you believed that he was going to legitimately go fast, then yes, it was the right time.
I thought he'd do at least another 3 straight.
But maybe this is just me thinking in Discord missile thing. But like, I feel like you want to fire it when you know it's going to land on something, not when you hope it's going to go through someone. Same with proximity mines.
Yeah.
Because at that time, it's not like you had locks on him, right?
I had one. Oh, before it, no.
Before it, no. Because then he would have moved off it with the 2 guys it was going to affect. Still have the jam token.
Yeah.
So whatever action he did would be irrelevant. Yes, he'd get his Wolfpack locks, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Like if you believed he was going to go fast, then yes, that was the correct time. But I'm of the mind that you want to fire it when you know it's going to land on the enemy.
Yeah. But then also in hindsight, if I hadn't fired it then, the wiring would have died, and
true,
I wouldn't have fired it at all. So, but yeah, I mean, right or wrong, I think the fact that Ryan didn't clip it, and if he saw it coming and went slower on purpose, that's great play on his part. That affected it, and then yeah, just the sheer amount of effectively passive mods that list gets.
I mean, I guess the flip side is Ryan's list is just really good against chaff clouds because he actually doesn't really care about it.
Yeah.
Because all he needs is for you to shoot at him. Yeah. And he has already ignored the chaff cloud.
That's it. That's the problem, isn't it? Because you're going to focus fire, you're going to, repeatedly take that lock. I think it would have made a difference if the bulk of my list wasn't I3.
Yes.
Because then you have the initiative. But with Ryan, well, I suppose it doesn't actually because
Warhog.
But yeah, So what I should have done is I should have just gunned for Warthog.
Yeah.
Because, yes, he's going to take the lock and he'll pass it around. But, realistically, Warthog's a one defense dice ship. Even with the obstruction for some of the shots, if I'd gunned all 4 into Warthog in the first turn, and then as many as I could in the second turn, I think realistically you take him down in 2 turns. And
I guess the question is, on that one is, but the Y-wing you killed did have a second proton torpedo, and did you really want it to fire it?
No, which is why I went for it. But I think in hindsight, over the course of the entire game, I'd argue Wolfpack did more damage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because every single time that Ryan fired a missile, it came from a Wolfpacked one that had been sync consoled.
Yeah.
Or just Wolfpacked. So, yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, it's interesting. It was close. It ended up 200 to 171.
That's about as close as you're going to get, realistically.
Yeah, good game, very enjoyable. And yeah, I think this is the 4th time I've played this list, so I need to get a couple more reps in with the Chaff Cloud and work out exactly where it goes with the 3 banks and the 4 straights and what you can do around it, what maneuvers work. The T-70s, I love them, but every time Jess is the last ship alive, I just weep a little bit. And that happens quite a lot. But then, where do you put the 5 points if you change her? I still think she's probably the right pilot.
Yeah, I think so.
But hey, we have...
Give Poe an APT.
We have slightly less than a month to iron these things out before the Sith Taker Open.
Yeah, assuming that actually happens.
Oh, don't be the pessimist, Sam. Optimism.
Oh, no optimism.
Yes, optimism. I have to have optimism because I'm supposed to be going on holiday 3 weeks after the Sith Taker Open, so...
Yeah, that's 3 weeks after. Things can sort itself out by then.
Yeah, but the closer we get, the more likelihood is that if they do lock down, then it won't. So
yeah,
I'm going with the optimism that the old floppy head git is going to follow through on his... We can ride this wave. That's got to be the worst Boris Johnson impression you've ever heard.
Yeah.
So, on that terribly appalling bombshell, we will wrap it up this evening, I think.
Yeah, let's just, maybe just...
I feel like Sam might be yawning internally there from that.
This is where you're going to use that sound effect, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All because I yawned before we started recording.
It's such a funny yawn. Oh. Yeah, almost like that, but better.
Right. That was a sigh.
All right, okay.
God, distinguish sighs and yawns.
God. Apologies for not knowing my No, I was about to say exhalation. I can't even say it now. Exhalation sounds. But actually,
I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah, technically, a yawn's inhalation anyway. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now we've...
On that note,
now we've fundamentally worked out body functions.
Now we've gone into biology. Let's leave before we say things that we can't take back.
So thanks for listening or watching on YouTube as always, guys. We will be back next week with another game. Hopefully, I've been talking to a couple of people. We'll get a guest on next week. Fingers crossed. Would be nice.
Yeah, it would.
Then you won't have to listen to us drone on for an hour. But we will wrap it up, so goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.